The kitchen felt heavy with silence. Tom stood by the window, holding the very last seed from Granddad's old tin between his rough fingers. Outside, the fields lay brown and ruined after weeks of flooding. His little boy Ollie, only 8, looked up at him with worried eyes and whispered, "Dad, are we going to be okay?" 5-year-old Lily clutched her empty bowl and stayed quiet, but her small face said everything. Tom's chest tightened. The red letter from the bank sat on the table like a threat. The fridge was almost bare, and with no harvest this year, he didn't know how he'd feed them through the coming months. He had one choice left: walk down to the village shop and sell that single seed to old Mr. Harris. It might bring enough for bread, milk, and a bit of coal for the fire. The kids could eat properly tonight. Tom even put his coat on and headed for the door. But as he reached for the handle, Ollie's question echoed in his head again. And suddenly he stopped. He thought about his late wife, Sarah. She had always believed in looking ahead, even in the hardest times. He remembered his own father's words. "Never eat your seed corn, son. Today's hunger passes, but tomorrow needs roots." Tom stood there for a long moment, heart pounding with doubt. Selling the seed would fix today's empty plates, but what about next month? And the month after that? The fear felt so real, it made his hands shake. Instead of walking to the village, he turned around. He took the children with him to the small patch of higher ground behind the cottage that had stayed mostly dry. Together, they dug a careful hole. Tom dropped the last seed in and covered it gently, like he was tucking his kids into bed at night. That evening, he told them what he had done. Lily cried because she was still hungry. Ollie went quiet and didn't speak to him for 2 whole days. The waiting felt endless. Every morning before the children woke, Tom checked the spot. Nothing, just bare soil. Neighbors started whispering that he had lost his mind. One evening, a local farmer even offered to buy the land for a low price, enough to move somewhere smaller and safer.
Tom almost said yes.
The doubt pressed down on him like a weight. What if nothing grew? What if he had just gambled his children's future on one tiny seed and a memory? Then, on the 17th morning, something unexpected happened. While Tom was making thin porridge, he heard Lily squeal with joy outside. He rushed out to see her pointing at the ground with wide eyes. A tiny green shoot, no bigger than a matchstick, had pushed through the earth overnight. It was so small, but it was alive, fighting its way up. From that day on, the whole family looked after it together. They carried water from the stream. They built a little fence from scraps of wood to keep the rabbits away. Slowly, steadily, that single seed grew stronger, taller, and produced more seeds of its own. By late summer, that small patch had become a proper crop, enough to sell at the market and keep some for themselves. They paid what they owed the bank. The children's cheeks grew round again. And best of all, Ollie and Lily began talking excitedly about what they wanted to plant the following year. Tom had planted more than a seed that day. He had planted hope and a future. And here's the quiet truth that stayed with him long after. Sometimes the hardest thing is to choose tomorrow when today is hurting. When everything feels like it's falling apart, the bravest decision you can make is to invest in your future self right now, even when it means going without a little today. Because the seeds you plant in the dark are the ones that grow into the life that can carry you and your family through anything. One small, courageous choice today can change the entire harvest of your life.